I criticize the idea or the ideology behind that, or the ideology behind teaching kids from a young age until let's actually educating kids at a young age and inbreeding this mindset that they need to work hard and get educated and seek employment. I think that's a bad way to raise a society if you want to move forward as a society. Because the moment you teach a kid that you need to get educated so that you can seek employment, it results in these results that we have today, the detrimental results that we have right now of unemployment. Rather, if there were ways that were implemented whilst we were young, or whilst these young ones are still young, of saying not only should you seek employment if possible, you should be equipped with certain skills that avail yourself to be valuable, or skills that you can develop onto yourself and become valuable. You can, create employment on your own. And one of the skills that we should have been taught as youngsters, or that should be taught, is agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of any economy. Whether it's grain agriculture, whether it's wine, any kind of agriculture is the backbone of any country, because the food industry will always be available. That's one industry that will always exist. Other industries come and go, as we saw during through history we saw that during the Industrial Revolution. Before that, there were people like bladesmiths, forgers. They were forging knives and all of that stuff. That skill came to not be so important when the Industrial Revolution came by. Now, this is also the same thing. We can't be living on the ideologies and the skills that were there 200 years ago. As a society, we need to keep developing and moving forward, and that should change with the curriculums in school, and also just what could equip the curriculum in school that the government introduces to these kids, because school is the only way that's mandatory, or the only way that is available to most of us that can make one equip of a certain skill. Yeah. So with that in mind, that school could be the only place to be, it should be a place of development, not a place of bad education or unnecessary education. And I will get to that point very soon. There should be like a part of a government sector that only focuses on the demand, the labor demand in the market, or a new market that's coming in, into play, and a new market that will be available for the next 30 to 80 years. Okay, this should be in alignment with the trajectory of the country's economy and its plans and priorities. Introducing a new piece of curriculum every single 5 to 10 years, so that its youth can be equipped with the necessary skills and good education that will provide that will sustain them, and that will also develop a country's economy in a decent way. Why that could work and change the most of this, I can say this, the problems that we're facing today is the youth. The youth don't have employment because of these issues. If I'll make an example, if these kids, if a government, right, is not really focused on developing certain sectors, then those certain subjects or courses should not be mandatory, or should actually be removed from the curriculum, because they will not fit into the economy and society of that country. For example, if you let 3 kids in 3 different grades, let's say from A level to O level, so those are 3 grades. You have, let's say, Form 4, Form 5, Form 6, or grade 10, 11, and 12. right? And all of these kids, in all of these children, 30% of them study to be scientists. But the country doesn't really have a demand in any science because it does not have any science projects that it is investing into to be one of the maybe the most scientific countries in the world, or have a scientific agenda that they are trying to achieve that will also benefit the economy of the country. If you let those pupils go into tertiary education and actually educate themselves on being scientists, and then after that seek employment in a country where employment for scientists is not available for them, then we have misguided these kids into learning something that is not a priority for the country. And that is what has killed our youth today, being blindly educating ourselves on things that are not necessarily important for the growth of the country and the growth of ourselves. However, if there was a government or a part or sector in the government that would alert people of such things, and they would introduce a new market for now, for example, with AI that's becoming the future. However, this is not only a government failure that is facing, it's also society and how parents used to have this mindset of saying school was the only way, because back in the day when they grew up, the chances of getting employed were still there. But now those chances have gone far by, because there isn't a market for what they were educated for, and a new market has not been created by government or even by private sectors. And private sector can't really come into a country that's underdeveloped, because on an economic side of it doesn't make sense for the private investor to come and invest in a country that is doing poorly.